Sebastian Bourget from the Sandbox, joined this time by Bowie Lau. Come on up. There we go.
Woohoo! Thank you, Andrew.
Take it away, Bowie, all yours.
First of all, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, Sebastian. For those of you who do not know, I have a deep connection with Sandbox. Indirectly through a VC fund, we got into Sandbox very early stage, I think 4 or 5 years ago. Recently, with the Hong Kong, pandemic all these years, we were trapped in Hong Kong. We have very strict travel restriction. And because of that, for all the events that I get involved, Sebastian was super supportive and was able to join virtually most of the time. And until today, finally, he managed to come all the way from France to Hong Kong to have this fireside chat with me. So thank you so much for joining us. So thank you.
And thank you, Bowie, for your support since the beginning.
Absolutely. So you are the practitioner in this NFT metaverse space. But for those of you who might not know, could you please share, what's the overview development in the space for the past few years?
Absolutely. So Sandbox has been one of the pioneers in blockchain gaming. I gave you a presentation of what it is. But I also am the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance, which is an organization that now counts over 500 members, and which mission is to showcase the possibility of blockchain technology within the video game industry. As a pioneer in the space and the president of Blockchain Game Alliance, we really see how things have been evolving and evolving very fast in this early phase of adoption. And I think we have seen all the rise of NFTs, the rise of profile picture collection, the rise of the GameFi or play to earn, play and earn, and all the variant of it in the business model. And we're starting to see a phase of maturity where the audience are still growing despite maybe the market condition or market fluctuation. More and more serious game developers are entering the space. We are seeing companies from Ubisoft, Atari, Square Enix, but also large corporations from Web2 have been stepping in and using the technology. And we are also seeing a greater number of products that coming live than before. Past year, it was a lot of raising a project coming with an ID, launching an NFT collection, raising fund maybe with a token, but still no product behind. Right. That was a little bit frustrating for the audience, and it drove as well some negative side on the industry as a whole. But this year, any project that's launching, they tend to have a live first version of a game that people can engage with. And all the successful collections that have been launching are immediately usable. So I think it's a great step in. And it will, from now on, we're going to see an increase of adoption more from the gamer audience and creator audience than just necessarily the pure speculator and investor, which are important but shouldn't be the dominant portion of the industry.
So you are the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance. So my question is, how is blockchain-based gaming disrupting the gaming industry?
So blockchain can be used in different ways. The simplest is the true digital ownership of assets, meaning users can own part of the content of the gameplay, if not all the content of the gameplay. Think of it like the characters, the equipment, the lands, typically. The next step, and what we've seen a lot recently, is to also have a decentralized economy with the currencies, the tokens of those games or platform becoming decentralized. It comes with challenges, definitely, and that's something we're seeing less this year, but I'm sure we'll get to dig a little bit more on that right after. And then also like decentralized governance, like that's involving the players and the community to participate in decision of how the game should evolve, what the game rule. Through DAOs, for example, is essential. Ultimately, the full form of decentralization is having everything, including the gameplay rules and logic on chain. Some games have tried, but so far that's not really what's taken off because of, I would say, more the limitation and capability on the number of transactions needed. And, well, there was not a real reason yet, except a very few rare cases. So, yeah, those are the different, it's an overview of what's possible to do with blockchain.
Sure. So nothing is perfect, right? There must be some pros and cons in decentralized game. In your views, what are the pros and cons?
So the pro is really putting back the power into like the players first, then the developers and creator, and pushing back to stores to have the lowest part of the value contribution. As opposite to right now, if you publish a game on the App Store, Google Play Store, they take 30% of your revenue. For what? Because they drive audience, but you still have to pay for user acquisition. So in the end, like, what's their role really, except like the basic install? Platforms like Roblox as well have been taking off most of the values they bring. And that is not healthy for the industry because developers are struggling. They need to find ways to monetize. Usually they do that through advertising because users have been reluctant. Only a tiny portion of users are buying in Web 2 and free-to-play, 1 to 3%. And why they are buying, like the content they buy, they don't really belong to them. It's very perishable, so as soon as there is a next event, the previous content you bought become useless, so it doesn't hold value and couldn't be resold afterwards. So that's one of the core benefits, like developer sincerely wants to give back that power. Also, they are looking for new form of gameplay. Basically, once you enable your users to own assets and participate eventually in the governance of those games, you can invent and develop new gameplay than what we've seen in the traditional game industry. Frankly speaking, the space of mobile gaming is becoming saturated and only a repetition of a success recipe with little variance. So the top grossing game haven't moved for many years. Typically, you need million or tens of millions of dollars of marketing to push a new title in the top. And because of this free-to-play 1% conversion, it's always about starter pack, gacha pack, live ops. So every month or so, they launch a new event and try to maximize selling content instead of maximize giving value to users. So maybe you sell once, but you focus on giving value by continuously delivering service. And then you optimize your gameplay for users to want the assets from other users and trade them. And that's very different. Like when you earn many times thanks to royalties rather than only once when you sell the first time on the primary sale, that enables to drive new format of entertainment. Also, we've seen that last year and it keeps growing, like putting back the power in the hands of users has enabled the development of a whole ecosystem where guilds of players, scholarship have playing a major role in like driving new users, training them, and participating to the whole gameplay and economy.
I'm mindful of the time, but I have many questions I still want to ask you.
Challenges, maybe.
Sandbox owns 166,000 plus pieces of land. So I'm sure many of us own a piece of land.
Who owns land?
If I have a piece of land, how can I monetize it? What am I supposed to do? I mean, lots of us want to know.
So thanks for being a landowner already, if you are. We have been demonstrating already some of the options to monetize your lands. Basically, you open an experience. You will be able this year to self-publish on your land, bringing your community to play. Launching an avatar collection is typically one way to monetize.
Like Snoop Dogg's, right?
Like Snoop Dogg, but like rabbits as well, like
I love it. Oh my God, it's so cute.
Hell's Kitchen has been the latest one. And once you have that avatar collection that represents your community, you can get access to certain portion of your land and give exclusive rewards in token or in NFT to them and start building a model around it. But ultimately, I think like us as Sandbox will not have all the answers. We are here as a platform to give you the tools. Like we've seen in App Store before, it was not Apple that invented the starter pack or the gacha or various ways of monetizing. It's the iteration of developers directly using data. And here, users have community. They have a way to connect with them directly to collect feedback and find a way that will monetize and work the best for them. And that's what we wish for.
Great. Well, another question, I think, in general, if someone owns a brand, how can they really tap into this $1 trillion market?
So, to be honest, I think it's still very early about monetization. Even the $1 trillion market from the Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan reports, they are saying it's in 10 years. It's not today, right? So right now, brands should focus on experimenting, innovating, trying out to be in the space. Because by being in the space, by connecting with their community, by moving from thinking of user as client and customer, but more as members of a community, by giving them NFT and value and encouraging them into creating, they are getting a learn of value back from that. And typically, a brand that enters Sandbox now, they would see tens of thousands of users engaging into an event, but those users, they will engage not for 1 minute or 10 seconds like on other social media platforms. They will engage for 30 minutes to 1 hour on average, which is a lot of time to connect, to teach them about their value, to share about some of like what makes your brand so special, your story, the storytelling, and even launch contest or competition for co-creating together content. And so we were talking about Rabbit. We've seen brands like Gucci, Rabbit, The Walking Dead, Ledger. We've been very successful. We were hosting in our office Ledger. They mentioned they had 300,000 unique players and more than 4.9 million quests completing where they educated their audience toward digital security. If they were trying to doing that in Web2 traditional media, they would have needed to spend millions of dollars to potentially get the same reach and engagement. So I think right now it's all about creativity and engagement.
Awesome. And I know you have a partner stay on Monday, April 3rd in Coral Bay called Blueprint. And you will be inviting a lot of partners to join us. And actually, I will host 2 sessions with you on that day. And many of you are welcome to join. And these are the team members. Ask them for the Eventbrite. The event is free. Please do join us. But I'm mindful of the time. My last question for you is, can you give us one key takeaway? What is your, I guess, mission for your Hong Kong visit? And what would you tell your audience, one key takeaway?
So it's been 3 years since I've been to Hong Kong. Actually, all my team who have been doing an amazing job here, making Hong Kong one of the major part of Sandbox platform and ecosystem. I met them for the first time in person. That shows how decentralized we are. My mission here is to connect with more and more builders and brands who are interested to enter, as well as meet with our existing brands. That's why we have this partner day. My recommendation to everyone in the audience is really be curious. After this presentation, try to create an avatar. It's totally free, no need to buy an NFT at all. Try for yourself what is Sandbox now and how it could evolve, how we could make it evolve together over the next years, and what sort of experience can you get into it right now. And hopefully that will inspire you to participate, meet maybe your next job as a creator, as a studio, as an agency, or at least give us interesting feedback that we can use to keep building the open metaverse together and make it better for everyone.
That sounds awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup for coming to Hong Kong. Welcome. And I look forward having the event with you on Monday, April 3rd. Let's give him a big round of applause from Hong Kong and have a good picture with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bowie. Thank you.